Hi, my name is Ashley. I'm going to be doing a persuasive speech over spreading communicable diseases and wearing face masks. My audience is...
I'm Katie.
I'm Stephanie.
Andrew.
Jamie Woodall.
Bill Woodall.
Okay. Excuse me, my allergies are really acting up today. But how would you know? You actually wouldn't. According to the article in the Washington Post in 2019, germs from a sneeze or a cough can travel 6 to 8 feet. That's 2 feet less than the CDC, or 2 feet more than the CDC requirement for social distancing. With my 13 years of nursing experience under my belt, you would think that I would have lungs of steel because I've been exposed to majority of illnesses and sicknesses, potentially, but wrong. COVID, like the flu, has many different strains, and they're not covered by the previous vaccinations that we've gotten the previous years. Written in an article in 2021 by Yale Medicine, since the beginning of the pandemic, we have seen a number of prominent variants of COVID-19, including the Alpha, Beta, Delta, and Omicron. With that being said, there are very few that have been fortunate enough not to experience COVID-19. In an article published in the Washington Post in April of this year, over half of the US population, that's nearly 190 million people, have been affected at least once since the pandemic began, and 1 million of those people have died from the illness. That's equivalent to 1 in 5 of us in this room that has had COVID at least once. I will be that statistic. I personally had COVID just last week. So today I will be discussing the importance of wearing your face mask, not only for your own safety, but for the safety of people around you, how the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, is working to minimize and dilute the spread of these illnesses, and persuade you to do your due diligence and wear your face mask in public. According to Forbes, in March of 2022, only 44% of people still wear a face mask as suggested by the CDC. That is less than half of the population, and at that rate, the virus is spreading. We as a country cannot afford to aid in the distinction of our population. Coronavirus is mostly spread through droplets that contain the virus. Droplets are expelled each time someone coughs, sneezes, or talks. These droplets are then breathed in through the nose or the mouth. This is the #1 fastest route of spreading the virus, through transfer of droplets via the respiratory system. Any one of you is susceptible to getting ill, right? We all breathe and take in airborne materials without even knowing it when we're breathing. Now imagine if you were immunocompromised from battling cancer or having an illness that was out of your control. You would be pretty angry if someone you loved or yourself passed away from the coronavirus because someone gave it to them. Wearing a mask takes 2 seconds out of your day to don it when you're leaving your house or going out of your car. According to the Mayo Clinic in December 2022, face masks combined with other preventative measures such as washing your hands, getting vaccinated, and social distancing can slow the spread of the virus that causes COVID-19. Masks are highly recommended in all public settings, but especially in indoor settings due to the ventilation system. A lot of establishments are now optional when you wear a face mask. Optional meaning it is your choice whether you put one on or not. The Center for Disease Control has put guidelines in place for our safety and the safety of others to slow down the spread of this deadly virus. The guidelines consist of masks in public, 6 feet social distancing, and quarantining at home when signs and symptoms of COVID arises. Masks are important and need to be worn effectively. They should be snug over the nose, the chin, with no gaps. You should feel warm air coming through the front of the mask when you breathe out. You should not feel air coming under the mask. When worn properly, masks are one of the main defenses we have from this virus that is killing our population. Many of you are thinking that COVID is the new flu and everyone is going to eventually have it or has already had it. And yes, that's probably true. Or how can me wearing a mask stop the spread of this virus if I'm the one wearing it and no one else around me is wearing it? My response to that is it takes one person at a time. One good example to urge another good example to urge another good example. Doing your part to stop the spread of COVID is simple and easy as putting your shoes on every day. Yes, everyone is probably going to eventually get COVID, but why should you be the one spreading it and giving it to them when you can easily prevent the spreading of this by wearing a mask? And here's the kicker. Most places that require face masks usually give them away for free when you walk into their establishment. If the majority of the population continues as we are and do not abide by the CDC guidelines and wear their masks when in public, the future of America will continue to decline. People will continue to have long-term respiratory effects from this deadly disease and even die. Healthcare will continue to increase in price, and hospitals will continue to be short-staffed due to the demand of care for these ill, frail patients. Or we could imagine a world where everyone does their part, wears their masks, washes their hands, and gets their vaccinations. COVID and other respiratory illnesses will of course stay around, but their deadly effects will slow down and not continue taking so many lives as it is now without majority cooperation. World population will continue to rise and our economy will thrive once again. So in conclusion, today we have spoke about the importance of wearing your face mask to slow down the spread of infection of respiratory illnesses. We discussed what a world will look like with and without cooperation and what the cooperation of you entails. I am calling all of you to do your part and lead our younger generation by example. Follow the rules and regulations put in place by the CDC and make America great again. Because without a place like big, beautiful America to live in, we might as well all be dead. And that is where we will all end up, 6 feet under, if we don't implement something as simple as wearing a face mask into our everyday routines. Thank you. You have to show them.
I'm here.